What's good, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation? It's your boy Jay Bari from whatsupplaystation.com, here to give you guys greatness once again, which is the PlayStation Nation, which is the PlayStation 4. And guys, I am here to give you my Final Fantasy 15 review. Final Fantasy 15 is a long awaited game that Final Fantasy fans have been waiting for when it began as Final Fantasy 13 Versus. Now it was announced as Final Fantasy 15, becoming a main Final Fantasy game, not an off-brand of the 13 series. And there's a lot of similarities to the 13 series in this game, as far as like deities, the summons and stuff like that. They all play in the same type of universe, but we're going to get into that a little bit more with the story with this game. But just like the previous review that I have of the World of Final Fantasy, I'm going to be giving you the final score first before I dive into the review. And when it comes to Final Fantasy 15, I've already announced it to many people that the final score for this game I've given it is a 7.8 out of 10. And I know a lot of people is like, what? This is my game of the year. What is going on? Why do you hate this game, Jay Bari? And I don't. I do not hate this game. I actually love this game. But the main reason why I play a Final Fantasy game is for the story. And let's dive right into this game and its story. This game has a lot of characters that it will be introducing, a lot of characters that you will see within this game. And these characters, honestly, have some great character development. The main character that you're playing with is Noxus. Noxus is the prince of the Lucian throne, and he is set out to find his newlywed lady Luna Freya, from Altissia. And basically he goes on this journey to look for Luna Freya, and so they can get married and bring and collide these two sets, worlds, I guess, between where Lucia and Altissia together, so they can unite or whatever, right? And he is accompanied by his guardians, I guess you would call them like that. We have Gladios, where he's one of Noxus's like good friends, and he's traveling with him as one of his guardians to see that he has a safe trip to marry Luna Freya. You also have Ignis. Matter of fact, Gladios is the more of the brute, the tank kind of soldier guy that he has. He's like he has super strong strength within the game, and he's one of my favorite of the characters that Noxus is basically accompanied with. Then you have Ignis. Ignis is more of the advisor. He looks at Noxus as like, okay, I can educate Noxus upon many things upon this world. So he's always not talking down to Noxus, but he's more like always in guidance for Noxus. He's always letting him know, making sure he keeps his composure on who he really is, and that he got to obtain his role for being a prince. That's a guy that I like. Ignis a lot. He's a cook within the game, and his uniqueness in the game is really good. His abilities is really good. Then you have Prompto. Prompto is more than meets the eye with this character. He became fast friends with Noxus, and Prompto is basically the cherry, teenager, the group that's always happy and always giddy. Some people might think he's annoying. He's the one that's taking all the pictures and the selfies and all that stuff. But when you go deeper into the game, you kind of learn a little backstory on Prompto of where he really from and the reason why he acts a certain way and all that good stuff. But I do think between these four characters, the character development in this game has been amazing. With Noxus, how he's just this he doesn't come off as like a brat, but he comes off sometimes as lazy. He's not like fully matured within the game. You know, he's always trying to, you know, dismiss his duties as being a prince, or dismiss his duties as you know, overall role within this journey. There's times where they'll set up camp and he hates the camp. Like, I don't want to go to camp. And Gladio's like, hey, man up. You got to do what you got to do. You know, you're a prince. Be that way. You know, there's a lot of things that Noxus is definitely learning from those guys that accompany him. And I really like the dynamic between them, because not every character is the same. Not all of them have the same abilities. Not all of them have the same type of personality, and they really mesh together really well throughout the story. But yeah, you meet a lot of people within this game, like Luna Freya. She is like one of the main protagonists as well within the game. She's the character that Nox is supposed to marry, and she has a huge role within this game. You know, that's as far as linking Noxus to these deities that he can summon in certain circumstances, and you know, just tying. I think she's an oracle as well. You know, and she's just a really important character within the game. Then you have, you know, other little minor characters that you meet, like Cindy and Sid and all those good guys. Then there's Arden, the main bad guy in the game. He reminds me of Kefka so much in this game, like, you know, for Final Fantasy VI, where it's always just a huge mystery with this guy. You know, he's helping, then he's not helping, then you see his true intent at the end, and it gets crazy with Arden, and he definitely reminds me of a Kefka type bad guy. But one of my main dislikes of this game is how they tell the story. They got great characters within this game, but how they tell the story, I think, is really lazy on the developers with this game, or the writers itself. I think there was like some huge conflict or something between the writing in this game during the time that it was in development, because, you know, Final Fantasy 15, it has a lot of things outside of the game that, you know, tells the story instead of the game actually telling the story. So you have the movie Kingsglaive, you have the anime Brotherhood, where a lot of things within that, in those movies and the anime, is telling part of the story, where I think the game should also have those things within it. So, you know, there's things like the ring of Lucy. You know, that's the main ring that King Regis has throughout the years, and you know, it's passed down to Noxus, but Luna Freya somehow has it. But you would find out or know how Luna Freya end up getting that ring to bring it to Noxus. You wouldn't find out the reasons behind that ring. You wouldn't find out a lot of things about this game without you watching, you know, Kingsglaive, or, you know, watching the Brotherhood series. And I just think that's really bad storytelling for a video game. You know, that this game should have had those things included within it as well, to get people caught up with the game. And one thing I love about certain RPGs is that they always have like a little glossary to get you on some backstory and certain characters. Sometimes you don't catch everything, so you have like a glossary there to let you know about these characters, or certain like little, you know, phrases, or certain key words, or certain key items within the story of this world, you know. And this game doesn't really have that, and it's kind of disappointing that it doesn't have that. Like, even with the enemies, like, you fight certain enemies, you would like to see like a background history on some of these enemies, like where these demons is coming from, or what type of demon this is, or what is it, you know, weak to, or stuff like, you know, stuff like that. You definitely get that through certain abilities that you earn throughout the game, but it's just not a fleshed out story enough to, you know, for me to really enjoy the game. Like, the game is really fun, but the story element is just so badly told, in my opinion. Especially later into the game, where, you know, once you get to like chapter 9, it's a huge rush within this game, and a lot of key things that is being told, a lot of key things that's being done within the game. If you didn't watch those outside sources, Kingsglaive and Brotherhood, you wouldn't know what is going on. You wouldn't know what's going on. I see a lot of people say that the story is great and all that stuff, and in its own right, the story is great if you watch everything. If you watch Kingsglaive, if you watch Brotherhood, if you play the game, yeah, the story is great. But just judging the game itself, they could have did a much better job within this game. And the fact that it was in the development so long and you don't have that, it was kind of really disappointing. But I did overall like the story. With everything, how Noxus, he's growing as a character. All the things that you do within the story with your partners, Prompto, Ignis, Gladios, that they all have these different abilities and skills. Like Noxus, he's like a fisher, so like a fisher, he's a fisherman, and you can go throughout the game doing that stuff and getting certain unique abilities as you gain with that. And Gladios, he's more of the guy that is the exploration guy, so as more of you explore, you gain his skill abilities. And Ignis, he's a cook, so the more things you collect or the more enemies sometimes you kill, he's like, I got a new recipe, which is really cool. And there's Prompto, which he's the picture guy. He takes really cool pictures at times. And I know a lot of people think that stuff is corny within the game, but I definitely love that stuff. I love those small intricate details, and I wanted them to have more of that stuff. But overall, the story of this game is just real choppy, and I think they could have done much better. It's a great story there, but they could have done much better with this game as far as just linking everything together and having everything within the game. But with that being said, this game is one of the most fun games I ever played this year, and that's testament to the battle system, because this is not a traditional Final Fantasy game where it's turn-based, but they made the battle system so good within this game. The new element, the action elements of this game is really good. Yeah, you're pressing circle a lot, you're pressing square a lot, but you have a lot of things that you can do, like the warp strikes, and these ascension points you can use as AP points, so you can kind of level up your character how you want to grow your character. If you want Noctis to be a warp striker where you can fight from a distance, you can have him that way. If you want him to be a magic user, you can have him that way. You can very customize your character. Even the other guys, Ignis, Prompto, Gladius, you can customize them with this ascension board, similar to like Final Fantasy X, using your AP points. And some of the abilities takes a lot of AP points, so you got to be real careful how you level them up or how you want them to ascend, basically. But there's a lot of abilities that Noxus earned where he gets these royal arms, so you can use those. But there's a sacrifice that comes with that, where you either can sacrifice your magic points or your health. Some of the items, some of the weapons you use, it definitely takes away from your health, but you gain so much power using them. And it's real fun just having that dynamic in there, because it gives you a little challenge within the game. But overall, this game is not very challenging, because I do think that with this game, items is not really as precious as in other Final Fantasy games. Like, you can buy 99 elixirs. You know how elixirs is precious in other Final Fantasy game, where you have like 2 and you like, yo, I can't use these elixirs until I get to like a real boss fight. In this game, you're not even worried about items, because you can just easily go and buy them. High potions, high elixirs, everything you need, you can just buy them 99, because you gain money pretty quickly in this game, or you can gain money pretty quickly in this game. And that kind of sets in with the difficulty aspect of this game, where it is a kind of an easy Final Fantasy game, but overall it's a very fun Final Fantasy game. I think a lot of people that like Final Fantasy, throughout the story of the game, you're going to figure this game pretty easy, and it's going to be like, oh, things like that. But the content is there. There's a lot of things to do within this world. Like, you can get to a chapter and not even progress throughout the story, but do so much things within the game. It's ridiculous. Like, I know people that's 60 hours in the game and they only at chapter 3 because they're doing side quests and they're doing other little things, hunting for these royal arms and these tombs and all this stuff. It's a really fun game to do. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of things for you to do within this game. And I do like the summons ability. The summons is very different. Like I said, they're more of like these deities, kind of like in Final Fantasy 13, where they looked upon as gods and stuff like that. But you get little if you hit certain criteria, you can summon a certain summon, I guess, Shiva. Shiva's about to get summoned right here. You can summon Rama. You can summon Titan and Leviathan, as you saw in the train area. So yeah, I do like the summons a lot. You know, it's very unique, it's very different in Final Fantasy, but it's also just fun seeing them come out and just destroy everything the enemies that you're fighting. But overall, I do think this game is really fun. The story is not the best of the Final Fantasy, because that's the way how they did the storytelling was in the game, and you know, the movie and the anime. But overall, you're going to have a lot of fun in this game because you have a lot of content, things to do, especially after you beat the game. I think after you beat the game, this game really picks up, and that's where I think a lot of people is going to have the most fun, because these dungeons that is really difficult, will have some really difficult bosses to fight. You know, those get opened up. You know, you get to find these weapons, which is really fun. Like if you're into the whole ecosystem of Final Fantasy 15, like Kingsglaive, they have Nyx's weapons that you can find, and those things are just really cool in my opinion. So I did overall have a lot of fun with Final Fantasy 15, but I just really think the story, it was really underwhelming for me, and that's the reason why I'm giving it a 7.8 out of 10. If the story really hit home, this game would have got a really much higher score, because I personally love this game. Like, I beat this game, I've platinumed this game, and I'm still playing this game because I want to find more weapons, I want to find other little accessories, things like that, you know. And it's just fun to do because there's so much content to do. But overall it's a very easy Final Fantasy. It's a very easy Final Fantasy to get into, and I think a lot of people that don't play Final Fantasy, they will get into this game and play it. But for those people that are seasoned Final Fantasy fans, it might come off as like a, you know, this Final Fantasy game that you don't really want. But when you dive in more and just, you know, play the game a little bit more and try to understand the characters and, you know, all the content that's being offered to you, and just playing the game, I think you overall have fun with this game. It's just a really disappointing story in my opinion, which had so much potential they could use. But there you go, guys, a 7.8 out of 10. That is my final score for Final Fantasy 15. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of this gameplay that I have here where I'm fighting Ifrit, and it was really fun just doing this battle. So alright, that's my review, Final Fantasy 15, and I'm gone. It's your boy Jay Bari. Deuces.
Hang in there, buddy! Stay down! We'll keep him busy!
Nox, over here! Quickly, before he strikes again!
Here it comes! I got your back!
Here you go.
Let's go! Move it or lose it! Get me! Shut up!
So even that wasn't enough?
It's time for the worst.
Out of the frying pan? Dot, dot, dot.
We need to put this thing out. See ya. Just the thing.
Sorry to break this up.
Nice work, Gladio.
Feels like I'm just hitting air. And the flames grow hotter.
What can we do to kill it?
Stay back so it doesn't kill us!
flames never stop.
Burning super hot now!
Going out in a blaze.
Fight fire with fire.
Okay!
I'm just the thing.
Propped up. Okay.
Shut up!
Yep.
One time!
It's over.
Apaske farar. Asuch wenn ich verhasse kämpfen. Aruf hala virtual. Arkai tirawidu. Hawawapit, Hakafimit, Hasafai, Irakukterong.
What did she say?
Told me to